Shalom, shalom. This is your brother Yeshar.
And this is your brother Ben Lahak.
And we are the nations of Israel. We are building our people back. And we are the Hebrew Israelites. You probably heard from us before. This day we gonna do our best to explain you Romans chapter 7. A lot of times, especially in Romans chapter 7, our people use this verse to, say that the law is no more, that we don't have to keep the law. Our people hate the law. We all know that clearly.
Yeah.
But before we start, we're going to read in Revelation 14 verse 12.
Revelations 14 verse 12. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Christ.
You see, he is the patience of the saints. Our patience is that we keep the commandments and the faith of Christ. We're not just Christians who say, as long as I have Jesus, I'm good, brother. You need the commandments and you need Christ in order for you to be called a saint. Okay? So now, let's go back to Romans chapter 7. We're going to clear the confusion. We're going to make it short and sweet. Let's start in verse 6.
Romans chapter 7 verse 6. But now we are delivered from the law, that being dead wherein we were held, that we should serve in newness of spirit.
Right.
And not in the oldness of the letter.
It says, but now we are delivered from the law. Now a Christian hear that, brother, we are saved from the law. We don't have to keep the law. Now I can finally eat my pork in peace. Okay? Now I can finally eat my lobster. Because we are saved from the law. Nico, the law is not something to be delivered from. Because the law, what does the law tell you? Love your mother. Love your father. Do not commit adultery. Why do Christians have a problem with the law? The law says not to be homosexual. Why do people have a problem with that? We are delivered from the law. What law is it talking about? This is the problem of our people. They don't know what Paul is talking about. Because in 2 Peter 3 verse 15, which we're not going over, it says clearly Paul's writings are really hard to be understood. So if you're not well learned, guess what? You're going to fail. You're not going to understand. And you're going to fight with the scriptures not knowing what they are. And Christians usually, they read that verse and they're like, you see, brother, we saved from the law. Okay? We can eat our pork. But that's not what he's talking about. Get me verse 1. Romans 7 verse 1.
Romans 7 verse 1. Know ye not, brethren, for I speak to them that know the law.
I speak to them who?
That know the law.
You see, Paul was talking to them that know the law. Which means, if you don't even know the law, don't even touch Paul's writings. Because he was talking to people who know the law. So you unlearned Christians who hate the Old Testament don't even need to touch Paul's writings. Because he talks to those who knows the law. Keep reading.
How that the law have dominion over a man as long as he liveth.
The law has dominion over a man as long as he lives. So, right now you probably are so confused. Because Paul just said, we are saved from the law. And right now Paul just said the law has dominion over a man as long as that man is living. So right now, there's question marks all around your head. You're asking what is Paul is talking about. And this is the decryption we're going to be doing today. And show you what type of law that we are delivered from and what law that have dominion over us as long as we live. Get me verse 12.
Romans 7 verse 12. And it says, wherefore the law is holy.
The law is what?
The law is holy.
The law is holy.
And the commandment holy and just and good.
Right. The commandment, the law of the Most High is holy and just and good. If something is holy, just and good, do we need to be delivered from it?
No.
Okay.
Very sanctified.
Alright. So guess what? We don't need to be delivered from a law that's just, holy and good. It's not the type of law we are delivered from. And this is what we're going to find out. Read verse 14.
Romans 7 verse 14. For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal.
The law is what?
The law is spiritual.
What is spiritual? The law is spiritual, which means it remains in your spirit. It dwells in your spirit. Read verse 15. Keep reading.
But I am carnal, sold under sin.
Sold under sin. Every one of us, we carnal. Because what does David say? I was born in iniquity. My mother gave me birth in iniquity. Which means you are sold under sin as soon as you come out of your mother's womb. Okay? That's why Paul said I'm carnal, which means I'm only flesh. But the law is spiritual. Okay? A lot of Christians, they say, brother, I don't keep the law. Now I walk according to the Spirit. Negro, if you keep the law, you walk according to the... If you spiritual, you walk according to what the law says. You don't be like, oh, I'm spiritual now. Jesus come out, I have to keep the law. The law is spiritual. If you're not keeping the law, you're not spiritual. Okay? You're not walking after the Spirit. Let's go back a little bit. Verse 8. Verse 7.
Romans 7, verse 7. What shall we say then? Is the law sin?
Is the law sin?
God forbid.
God what?
God forbid.
The law is not sin. When you're keeping the law of the Most High, it's not sin. Okay? Because a lot of you, we are delivered from the law. We think that's the law of God. It's not talking about the law. That's why Paul mentioned, is the law sin? The Most High forbid. Keep reading.
Nay, I had not known sin, but the law.
I have not known sin by the law. You see, Christians, if you take the law out, which means none of you is sinning. You can tell your members, do not drink alcohol. You can tell them, do not wear pins. You can tell them, do not curse the pastors. Or do not steal your pastor's wife. Because if you don't have a law, there is no sin. Because sin is the transgression of the law. Okay? So if you go around preaching that the law is normal, guess what? It's okay for the members to sleep with your own very wife. Okay? Just like it's okay to eat pork. Because it's part of the law. Keep reading. Verse 8.
For I had not known just except lust, except the law had said.
Okay? I would not know lust. What is lust? It's when you lust envy a woman. Or envy something else. I would not know lust unless... Where does the law say that? Basically in Exodus 20. Right? He said, thou shalt not envy thy neighbor's wife or, anything that belongs to your neighbor. But if there is no law, which means I will not know that I should not envy my brother's wife. Which means it's okay now to get my brother's wife. Verse 8.
But sin, taking occasion by the commandment, wrought in me all manner of concupiscence. For without the law, sin was dead.
The sin take occasion by the law. How does that happen? He's gonna keep explaining. I want you to keep going. Then he's gonna explain.
For I was alive without the law once.
I was alive without the law. What does that mean? I was in the world doing whatever I want to do. I was my own boss doing whatever I want. I was alive, but what happened?
For I was alive without the law once, but when the commandments came, sin revived and I died.
I was alive. I was doing whatever I want. Doing drugs, killing, robbing, stealing my brother's wife. I was alive. But when the law came and a brother tell me, according to the law, you cannot steal your brother's wife, I died. Why do I die? Get me just right in verse 23, right there. Get that for me. Romans 6 verse 23.
For the wages of sin is death.
Wages of sin is what?
For the wages of sin is death.
Read it again.
For the wages of sin is death.
For the wages of sin is death. That means when a brother come and tell you that, brother, according to the law, you cannot deal a certain way, guess what? You realize that you deserve to die. Because immediately the law come, the wage of sin is death. Okay?
But the gift of God is eternal life through Christ our Lord.
The gift of the Most High, it's a free thing that the Most High is not. When it says free thing, you still have to give the law. Okay? The gift of the Most High is for obedient children. It's not for the wicked ones. A lot of people think, it's just like we have children, right? Yeah. If I have children, there is no gift for any child that's not going to listen to me. I'm not going to give you gift to encourage you to be wicked. The Most High have no gift for someone who's not going to do his laws. Okay? So, let's go back to Romans 7 verse 8. Read it now.
Romans 7 verse 8. But sin, taking occasion by the commandment, wrought in me all manner of
concupiscence.
For without the law, sin was dead.
You see, without the law, sin was dead. So what happened is, once you come to know the law now, sin is trying to get to you. Because long time ago, you were not sinning. You didn't know about the law. But now that you know the law, sin is trying to creep in. Okay? Sin is taking occasion. That's why Paul asked, is the law sin? No, it's not the law. The law has nothing to do with your sin. In fact, you sin because you're breaking the law. Okay? So it's not the law's fault. A lot of people hate the law. Okay?
So that means if you don't know the law, you're not sinning. But when you do,
You're still sinning though. You're still sinning in ignorance. And if you keep living in that ignorance, you're gonna die. Okay? But once you come to know the law and you're trying to keep the law, now sin is trying to creep in. Okay? So now get me verse 12 again. I want verse 12 again.
Romans 7, verse 12. Wherefore the law is holy, and the commandment holy, and just, and good.
You see, the commandment of the Most High is not sin. It's good and just. You don't need to be delivered from it. Read the next verse.
Was then that which is good made death unto me?
Was that let me read it again. Was that then which is good made death unto me? Which was good? The law. You just said the law is good, right? So he said, does the law kill me? Keep reading.
God forbid.
God forbid. The law don't kill you. Let's see what kill you. Because Christians hate the law because they think when you see the law you're gonna die because the wage of sin is death, right? So they decide to live in the filthy ways, thinking that if I keep the law I'll die. No. Let's see what kill you. Does the law kill me? No, God forbid. Keep reading.
God forbid, but sin that it might appear sin, working death in me. By that which is good.
By what?
By that which is good.
By that which is good. You see what kill you? Sin. Because the wage of sin is death. The law don't kill you if you keep the law correctly. Okay, that's why a lot of Christians are avoiding the law. Because when you sin against the law, you die. And they think, because you die, they think, yeah, that law is not good because it killed me. No, the law don't kill you. You know what kills you really? It's sin. It is sin that kills you. Verse 16. Get me verse 16.
Romans 7, verse 16.
Verse 15.
15. For that which I do, I allow not. For what I do, that do I not. But what I hate, that do I.
Don't you ever find yourself in a situation, whatever you try, you're trying to do what's right, but anytime you try to do what's right, is the wrong thing that come out? That's what Paul is saying. Every time I try to do what's good, the wrong thing come out. Okay? So keep reading, verse 16.
If then I do that which I would not, I consent unto the law that it is good.
If I do what is not good, which means I accept that the law say it wasn't good at the first time. If I steal my brother's wife and I realize that, man, that's bad, then I consent, I agree that the law of the Most High is good because the law say thou shalt not steal your brother's wife. Okay? So now get me verse 20.
Romans 7, verse 20. Now if I do that I would not, it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me.
You see that? Your mind, inside your mind is the law because the law is spiritual. But inside your body, anytime you're trying to do what's in your spirit, which is the law, the sin come out. The sin say, no, you're not going to do it. Okay? So it's no more I that do it. There's a sin that's dwelling in me. Keep reading. Get me verse 21 now.
I find then a law that when I would do good, evil is present with me.
So now there's another law. Paul just found out there's another law. Because read verse 22 before I explain that.
For I delight in the law of God after the inward man.
Inside of him there's a good law. Because Paul said, I love to do the law of the Most High after the inward man, in my spirit. Because inside inside his head is the law of the Most High, because the law is spiritual. It's in your spirit. But there's another law in verse 21 that's fighting against that law. And let's find out what law is that. Verse 23.
Romans 7, verse 23. But I see another law in my members, warring against the law of my mind.
There's another law now, warring against the law of my mind. What law is in your mind? The law of the Most High, because the law is spiritual. Romans 7 verse 14. That law that is in your spirit, there's another law fighting against that law. And this is the law we're going to find out we just got delivered from. We're not delivered from the law that's just and good and holy. Okay, keep reading.
But I see another law in my members warring against the law of my mind, and bringing me into captivity.
And bringing me what?
Into captivity.
And bringing me what?
Into captivity.
Into captivity. And keep reading.
To the law of sin, which is
what?
To the law of sin.
To what?
To the law of sin.
This law is called the law of sin. What that Keep reading.
which is in my members.
Which is in my members. So there's another law fighting against the Most High's laws. Guess what? Each time you're trying to do what's good, that law says no nigga. Each time you saying, oh, that's the brother's why I can touch it. But that law is saying, come on man, just once. Just do it for once. It's not gonna hurt nobody. Okay? So this is the law, this is in your flesh. That Paul realized when each time he's trying to do the law of the Most High, this law is preventing him from doing the law of the Most High. And Christians don't understand that this law held us captive. Because why? It's that at some point, when you keep listening to your body, you're gonna give in. You understand? You're gonna give in to your body, which means you're gonna go after what your body tells you. That's why a lot of people used to be Christians. After some time, you see them partying in the club. They're given to that law of sin until that law takes them captive. Okay? So go back to verse 6 now.
Romans 7 verse 6. But now we are delivered from the law, that being dead wherein we were held.
You see? But now we are delivered from the law wherein we held. What law held us? Is the law of sin. And thank you, brothers, for joining us. This was your brother Yashar.
And this is your brother Ben Lahak.
And thank you. And this is the Hebrew Israelites, the world of Israel. Thank you and shalom.
Shalom.